Do you like spooky, scary Japanese tales of ghosts, monsters, and more? Well, I got 3 for you that you've probably never even heard of. So let's get into it. What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be doing a spoiler-free review of 3 Japanese horror movies that are actually getting released on a box set from Radiance Films called Daiei Gothic Volume 2. Big shout out to MVD Entertainment and Radiance Films for allowing me to check out this for you guys ahead of time, so you can know what it's all about. That's right, we got Ghost of Kasane Swamp, The Haunted Castle, and Demon of Mount Oi, which are some pretty classic big tales from the company called Daiei. Is one of 6 different companies that existed in the past in Japan that were pumping out films left and right. Japan was booming with films, and at the time, this was around the 60s when the first movie came out, Demon of Mount Oi, which it was period piece stuff. 3 of them were these movies, and I'm going to talk to you about them, and I'm also going to do an unboxing of this, which, man, Radiance does a really fantastic job of not only restoring these films, but also putting in some extras and just making them look classy as hell, man. I actually did another review of the first volume, which was Daiei Gothic Volume 1, and that had quite a few good ones on there too. But this one may be giving this old one a run for the money. And it's out October 14th, which I'll have a link down below for you guys to pick up a copy. It's a great set that I'm going to talk about right now. And then we'll go into all the extras, the unboxing, and all that other stuff afterwards once I do some small reviews on each of these. To give you an idea of Daiei Films, they were actually a company that went on to do a lot of the Gamera films. You know, they're kind of like the turtle that's like Godzilla. And they went on to do a lot of different films that were kind of geared towards a younger audience, like teens to like 20s and 30s. And they were kind of popular for those kind of films, as well as the Zatoichi films, which is The Blind Swordsman, which I also have a box set of that I need to go through. But there's like so many Zatoichi films, it's insane. But this was a film company that was in competition with 5 other film companies, Toei's, all of the different other ones that were out there. And they had each of their own kind of brand and sort of demographic that they would go for. And these 3 films span from 1960 to 1970. So there's quite a few differences about each of the films. Some have monsters, some have ghosts, some have demons, and they all 3 were pretty good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about and review each of those films to give you kind of an idea what it's about. Then I'm going to go into the unboxing video where I will show you what's inside, what it looks like, what you can expect if you want to pick up a release for yourself, which this is already going to be coming out October 14th for you to pick up. And I believe in the UK it's October 13th, so you're just a day ahead. And then, you know, we'll basically wrap it all up and hopefully give you something new to watch for the Halloween season. Now, remember, if you at any time want to skip around to a different review or the unboxing or the extras, I have timestamps down below for you at any point. So if you're ready for Halloween, or we call it Voidtober around here, let's get into it. First up, we have The Demon of Mount Oi, which is a Tokuzo Tanaka film, who is the director of Rashomon, a lot of Zatoichi films, The Snow Woman from this old box set that I actually reviewed. But it's essentially about this demon, or demons, because there's multiple of them in this movie. There's a group of mighty warriors that are sent to eliminate a demon who steals a woman from the imperial capital of Kyoto. And on the way, they face satanic bull, a giant spider, and a diabolic witch. But the closer they come to their goal, the more they realize that the demon that they've been ordered to kill is far more human than they were led to believe. It's a little spotty and in places, and it kind of has a little bit of a problem with continuity and keeping it going, but There are some really cool moments that happen in this film that I thought were really interesting. You really got to pay attention early on in the film to really fully understand what is exactly happening. There are people being stolen left and right, and females from one, dominion to the next. There's a lot of people at play. There's a lot of characters that are against each other, and they're kind of all over the place. One thing I noticed about a lot of these films is that there's not a lot of really good people in these films. Like, a lot of them have ulterior motives, and they're out to do things behind people's backs, and they get dishonored and leave and go and take other people. It's a wild bunch of stories. This one in particular, like I said, it is a little spotty, but we do get some monsters, we get some ghosts, we get some demons, and there's some pretty cool practical effects, even though they're a little outdated for today's world. I mean, this is a 1960 film after all, and you're going to be seeing quite a bit of older style, like artwork and like practical effects and things, long before a lot of people got to learn the techniques, but it still looks cool to me. I kind of love that style a little bit. In the very beginning of the movie, they have to like kill this demon. They go in, they try to like kill it, and then the head comes off and it's flying around the room, and it's pretty cool looking. I like the style in this film quite a bit. The spider that's in this is like really freaking cool. They attack it. It's got like a light glowing out of its chest for some reason. It makes all these like crazy noises and stuff. There is a lot of actors that are also in this movie as well. You got people like Raizo Ikikawa, Shintaro Katsu, who's done a lot of Zatoichi films and stuff. His brother even did it. He was in The Lone Wolf and Cub, his brother. Katsuo Hasegawa, and just so many more you will recognize if you've watched a lot of these older films. Everybody does a really good job. Some of them were there to look pretty, some of them were there to act tough and had really good action parts, and then some of them were just really good at both. This is probably the more different one out of the box set. I would say it's the one that leans a little bit outside of the horror genre, even though there are moments in the film that I would say probably would scare kids at this day and age, like when it was made. But yeah, it's actually pretty cool. I enjoyed it. I didn't love it. It was, like I said, a little spotty for me and a little long. I think it goes for like almost 2 hours on this one. Thought it was pretty fun to see the creatures and stuff. I would give this one like a 6.5 out of 10. If you're gonna watch these, understand these are older films, okay? This one in particular is gonna take a little bit more of a, I don't know, accustomed flavor, that you would know about older films. So might not be the pick to watch first out of this set if you are not, fully aware of these older films, if that makes sense. I know some people, the people that watch my channel, really like to challenge themselves like I do, because I've tried to cultivate that here in this group, is to make you guys watch stuff that you normally wouldn't, to help you find stuff that you really like. This one's 6.5 out of 10. It's still kind of riding that line of 7 because it has some cool stuff in it. Up next, we have The Haunted Castle from 1969. And this is Tokazu Tanaka as well, who, as I mentioned, already did those films like The Snow Woman and such. The Haunted Castle is about a blind monk who is killed in a cowardly manner by a samurai lord. The lord is essentially trying to marry his sister because he finds her to be attractive one day while they're having tea in the middle of nowhere. The monk doesn't want it because they used to rule the land in the past, and the monk wants the guy that's known the family to be his sister's suitor, who's like been a family member to them as well, to marry into the family. But this lord wants what he wants, and he's got to have what he wants. And so he tells someone to tell the lord that, she's very unagreeable and not suitable for him anyway, not good enough. The lord takes that as a big no-no and decides that he's going to hang out with him to go play Go later on that night and have a talk with him. When they try to cheat and swindle the monk out of a game of Go, and the monk realizes that he's swindling him because he's blind, and he memorizes all the numbers on the board where he put his, pieces because he's that good, they try to move the piece and try to win him, and then they end up slaying him. After that happens, the sister gets pretty upset. She ends up committing, turn it sideways, to try to get her blood to be licked by the cat, which then turns the cat into an evil demonic spirit that will go out and avenge the death of their father when she finds out. And that black cat, sure enough, does lick that blood and turns into a demonic spirit, which hops from human to human, possessing them and turning him into some pretty crazy stuff. And I'll be honest, this one is like, if I were a kid and saw this, even at my age, I would have been fucking scared of this. Because the noises they made, they took the cat sounds and just had it going in all the parts of the movie when it was like attacking and doing weird supernatural stuff. Like, it wasn't just a cat. It's like the cat will possess a body and then take it over, and then their eyes turn yellow and their hair looks like a cat. They start acting like a cat and they start killing people off in weird ways. And floating around in the room and stuff, which was pretty cool. I thought this one was amazing. I was very into this movie. This was not a struggle for me to watch at all. It's a very simple story in a lot of ways, but it was spooky, like genuinely kind of creepy in a lot of moments. And I really genuinely, like 8 out of 10 liked it. This was one that I really, I think makes the set in a lot of ways for me. Like, I genuinely really enjoyed it. Now, it doesn't have as high a score on the IMDb or any of the other places, but it just hit the right spot for me. So I don't know, maybe you'll like it a lot more too because of how it's simplistic in a way and work. But basically, the cat is haunting this castle that the Lord lives in, who basically killed the monk and has made all his family and has made his family, you know, fall apart because they kicked the family out of their house afterwards because they're worried that eventually they'll find out that he was killed. But yeah, I thought it was really great. I genuinely enjoyed this one. And I really genuinely think you guys will like this one. If you watch the old set, I mean, these two already are pretty damn good for the box set as is. And this was definitely a top pick of this whole set. Up next, we got another one, and that is The Ghost of Kasane Swamp. Now, this is one I thought was a story about a woman who had half of her face like ruined. There was like this old story in Japan where this woman gets poisoned and it turns her face ugly, and it's been an ongoing story. They actually had it in the first box set, and there's been like, I think 5 different versions of that film, and I mistakenly thought this was it just by the look of the cover. But no, this is something completely different. And it's actually by another director. It's by Yasuda Kimiyoshi, who did the Yokai Monsters, 100 Monsters, the Daimajin, and Zatoichi films. If you remember, if you were a podcast follower, we did an audio podcast of this entire set over the course of like, I think it was 2 or 3 episodes now that I think of it. But yeah, this is the Arrow set of the Yokai Monsters, and he did the 100 Monsters, Spook Warfare. There's a bunch on there that were really cool. A lot of creature effects if you're ever interested. And this one is a story that's about a samurai's wife who tries to repay her husband's debt with her body because he's cheating on her and she just doesn't care anymore. She's caught in bed with the moneylender, and they're both murdered by her husband, who is already upstairs cheating on her, which is just wrong. It's like, what are you doing? And he dumps their bodies in a nearby swamp. And Shingaro and Oshiga, the moneylender and the samurai's children, find a curse has been passed on to them as they each try to recover the money. So every person who touches this money becomes cursed with some bad misfortune or something that eventually happens to them. And it just keeps chasing and hunting everybody down. And it's not necessarily like a supernatural film for most of it. Like, it is, because you'll see like the ghost of the lender like in the corner or something like that, because he gets brutally slain, and that guy's wife and everything. But it's really just a really cool thriller story, and then it turns into even more of a supernatural thing by the end of the movie. Everybody in this movie is a terrible person, just terrible people. Every single one of them gets their just desserts too, and nobody is off bounds. This is the more complex story that actually works from start to finish. I think this one is probably the better film overall as far as like story and like yeah, some of the supernatural elements were really cool in it. I personally prefer the castle, the haunted castle, a little bit more, but I can see that this one is like a better made film overall. There are some amazing shots that I saw in here and how they move it around and stuff. The lighting on the creatures and stuff like that, very cool. The ghosts and stuff that are in it just look horrendous, and the people in it obviously are horrendous. Everybody's screwing everybody and screwing each other over. So yeah, that's kind of the MO for this movie. It ends really cool, and a lot of people love this film. Even if they're latecomers to this movie, like younger generation that watch it, it feels like this is the one that everybody can kind of get behind a little bit easier than the rest of the films. But I think you're pretty okay with the Haunted Castle and this one if you're going to watch them in, you know, in the order I've told these is the order I watched them. So I watched them in, you know, from their years on. I would give this one probably a 7.5 or an 8 out of 10. It's just underneath the Haunted Castle by a little bit. It's a little bit more of the twistier movie, and it definitely is better made in some regards. I think the style in it is actually pretty cool too. But I think both the style in both of these films, this is the breadwinner right here for me, guys. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this box set. I really thought this was probably the better box set than the last one. And the last one had some pretty good stories in it. This one is a little bit more visual and flows a little bit better than the other ones that I saw. I really think I like this box set more than Volume 1. So if you were kind of hesitant about Volume 1 and weren't really big fans, I think you might be a little bit more interested in this one. But we're going to go over everything here, what's in the box set and everything. I got some B-roll that'll show you some up close, not just in this camera. But let's get into the unboxing and the extras and all of that now. All right, so first up, we have the box here, which looks really good. It's got this little slip on the side, which I forget the name of it. Somebody who was kind enough to tell me what this is called. They use this in Japan a lot, so that it's uniform, so people know what they're getting and it's not misleading. I guess it's like very important to them to have fair, you know, selling practices. So, you know, they put this little card. I forget what it's called. It's a really cute name, but the box set is just as nice as the other one. As you can see here, we've got all the details and all the movies on the back. On the inside, we get our booklet, which, you know, is obviously heavy on a lot of the stuff that happens in these three movies. We have a lot of different stories. They have, you know, Saga of the Ghost Cat, which is like an article about the haunted castle. Sins of the Father, which is the last movie that I was talking about. Ghost of Kasane Swamp, and more. There's just a ton of reading in here that you can do to really kind of find out a hell of a lot more about this series, the directors, the time frame that they came out in, and like why it was so popular. Now we do have the Demon of Mount Oe right here. The back. On the inside, it's pretty simple, no extra stuff in there. Just the red disc and the fold out of the reversible cover of the original artwork and sort of the details of what's the bonus special features are, which we'll go over here in a little bit. Then we got the haunted castle here, which you can see the side as well. At the back, they all have a color theme. This one happens to be a yellow. Undercarriage here, so you can check out what's underneath. Kind of like the new artwork more simple, although I do wish that they had something on the back so you could check out the extras and the features and stuff. We do have the third one, which is the Ghost of Kasane Swamp. Here's the side and the back. Open it up. This one happens to be a white disc with red writing, and underneath the original artwork, or something close to it at least. But to go over some of the extras on this, I'm going to go over them now, each disc in a row, so that you can tell what is on here that you might want to see for yourself. Now, just some regular stuff here that's on this. These are new 4K restorations of each by Radiance Films. There is uncompressed mono PCM audio for each film. Optional English subtitles for all of the films, by the way. They do have the new book and artwork done by Time Tomorrow. The booklet is about 80 pages. It's featuring writing by Amber T, Jasper Sharp, Tom Mess, plus archival writing by Daniel O'Neill and the original Ghost Stories, The Goblin of Oyama, and The Vampire Cat, which are the books, I guess, that these are based off of. There is only 4,000 copies of these, so just FYI, if you are going to pick this up, just understand that you don't want to wait too long. You know, they do go eventually. Also, the OB strip, that's what this is called, the OBI strip. Now, on the first movie, we do have some extras. There's a new interview with period film historian Taichi Kasuga from 2025. There's Blade of the Demon Slayer, a visual essay by Tom Mess from 2025. A trailer, Reversible Sleeve, featuring original and newly commissioned artwork by Filippo Di Battista. For The Haunted Castle, we have a new interview with J-horror filmmaker Mari Asado, which was brand new. A visual essay by ghost story scholar Zach Davison. A trailer, Reversible Sleeve, featuring originally and newly commissioned artwork by Filippo Di Battista. Actually, all three of them are. So, The Ghost of Kasane Swamp, that has a new interview with J-horror filmmaker Norio Tsuruda, and a select scene audio commentary by horror film scholar Lindsay Nelson, plus a trailer and the reversible sleeve. And that's all she wrote. Now, each of the segments that are in here, the extras, are about 15 to 25 minutes long, so it's pretty lengthy for those. But yeah, that's everything here. But yeah, this is a pretty quality looking box set if you are the type of person like myself who likes to see how horror has shaped different countries and go back and see where it was before today's standards are and how it's changed so much over that time. This is like a perfect starting point for a lot of the early 60s stuff that you could see. And obviously one of these is from 1970, but it might as well just be, 1969. But yeah, really enjoyed this box set. Very happy with it. Overall, I would say it's a win. You may like the first one that I talked about more than I did, but I think they're all worth watching. Just remember, these are older films. They may not be for everybody, but I really urge you guys to open your palettes up a little bit so that you can understand, there are other films out there that don't, maybe have the modern appeal, but that are still fun to watch, and they're not boring. Just because they don't have the modern advances. Sometimes I like the older style of their practical effects than I do the newer stuff, because it just has so much style put into it that it looks really cool. Thank you, MVD and Radiance Film, for sending this one out. Like I said, October 14th. There are links down below if you'd like to pick up a copy for yourself. Thank you guys for coming by and sitting down with me to open your minds to some really cool ghostly stuff that I genuinely enjoyed. I thought it was a nice treat to watch. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Have you ever heard of these films before? Did you see them before I did? I would love to hear from you. So hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks for coming by, and as always, long live the void.